Addison,
Who are you?
you have exceeded the amount of cringe content allowed on YouTube.
What? My content's not even that cringy. Well, even it is, that's not even a rule.
You and your channel must now be removed.
No, you will not take my channel down.
God.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of A to Y. I'm your host, Addison Young, as always and forever. Thank you for watching another episode, and let's just jump right into the message of today, and that is, who in the world today are the real hypocrites in our society? Now, we live, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, a pretty broken world. I mean, right now, as of April 13th, Ukraine is still getting invaded. People are still starving. And people are still, getting burned just trying to cook for their family. Thank you for all the donations to World Renewal. By the way, the lady who was burned in Africa has returned home with her medical bills paid, and she's healing at home now. And we thank you for those donations. So that being said, there is brightness to this world, and it's not total darkness and depression all the time. There is goodness. But I'm going to focus kind of here in America, because we really have a hypocritical society. Now, when I say hypocrite and hypocritical and hypocrisy, which you're going to hear 9.5 million times today, I'm sorry. Here's what I mean, and this is the definition from Merriam-Webster. Hey A to Y viewer, it's me, your host, Addison Young. So when I recorded this episode, I apparently had a crash on the side cam, so you're going to look over and see me look at the side cam multiple times, but that video file did not come through the camera. I don't know where it is. It's gone. But the message turned out pretty good, so I appreciate it if you continue watching, even though you're going to see me look away from you guys a lot. I'm paying attention. Technical issues, that happens a lot here at A to Y, but thank you for your patience and continue loving the episode. Thank you. Why is it two names? I will never completely understand. I should have looked that up before I brought that up, but I don't really care. So the two definitions of a hypocrite, according to Merriam-Webster, are a person who puts false appearance of virtue or religion. 2, a person who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings. Now, with those two definitions, I am a massive hypocrite. Because I proclaim I am a Christian, and I sin all the time. I do. I mess up all the time. When I'm not in the studio, I occasionally swear, and I make all kinds of other mistakes because I am human and I am deeply, deeply flawed. But I have a standard of codes that I'm always trying to live up to, a standard of teaching that I'm always trying to practice. Now, that being said, while I'm very hypocritical, so is the world, and the world as a whole is also incredibly hypocritical. In fact, one of my favorite examples I'm going to use for hypocrisy is from my current favorite show of the year, Castle, which I loved. I binged the whole thing in 2 months or something. It was not healthy, but I loved the show. And early on in the show, and if you don't know what Castle is, it's just a murder mystery. And early on the show, there was a politician who was murdered. I think he was shot or stabbed. I know, very descriptive, but it was a pretty brutal murder. And as they're digging into this guy's life, he was murdered during campaign season, and he was campaigning as the married guy with the 2 daughters who are going to college and Mr. Perfect, Mr. Family Values. And they go in and they're researching his campaign stuff, and they go to the other guy who's running, and they go to his campaign stuff, and the guy who's running the opposite campaign gives Castle and the other detectives photos that reveal that the guy who was murdered had been sleeping with a prostitute. And in the show, Beckett utters a line that I love. How come it's always the family value guys who turn out to be dirtbags? I don't know if that's an exact quote, but that's along the lines of how it is. And that's right. How many politicians have have run on the claim of, I'm a great individual, I'm fantastic, and then, have not just one skeleton in their closet, but 5. and they're all pretty mangled and stuff. It's like, oh, come on. So, yeah, we live in a pretty messed up society. And that society loves to point out when Christians fail and are called out as hypocrites. Calls us out as hypocrites. And I'm not going to lie and be like, oh, it's totally unjustified, because we're very hypocritical people. But according to Merriam-Webster, you are a hypocrite when you put up false appearances about your religion, which is, I find, completely unacceptable. And 2, which is what I'm going to really hone in on today, person who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings. Now, stated beliefs or feelings, meaning that in order to be a hypocrite, you must have standards and beliefs. You cannot be a hypocrite if you have no standards, you have no beliefs, or you have no codes. You cannot be a hypocrite. In other words, if you just live lawlessly, but you're like, well, I have no laws and I have nothing to live by, well, yeah, you're not a hypocrite, but you're a piece of crap. So, give or take that. And people who just love to slam Christians for being hypocrites, the Bible does that for us too. I just did a quick Google search and found over 25 verses of the Bible just bashing hypocrisy. And one of my favorite ones is Luke chapter 6, verse 46. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not know what I say? Now, this is totally bashing all those, 2-time-a-year Christians, the Christians who show up only for Easter and Christmas, who are like, yeah, I'm Christian, and then only show up to church twice a year, or only, practice Christianity twice a year. Those people. And yeah, those people are hypocrites, but I'm really focusing in on the real Christians today who go to church regularly, somewhere regularly, and really try to live by the practices and teachings of the Bible, and try to live that in a fulfilling way and demonstrate a positive life and lifestyle. Now, since we're human, and as I've already kind of gotten into this, as humans, we have all failed, we have all sinned, and therefore are not worthy of going to heaven. But Jesus died for us at Easter time, and his death gave us forgiveness for our sins, which allows us to go into heaven, as long as we believe in him, accept him into our hearts, and then try to live by these codes and these standards. So, I would much rather live as a person with codes and standards than without. Because when I live and I go out through my life with codes, standards, and responsibilities, I make a positive difference in my community. People can often tell that there's something different about me than my peers because I behave differently, I treat people differently. And it's not just me, it's all kinds of people. I'm sure you can think of one right now who you can just tell is different. Even when their days has gone to the craps, they can try to bring a positivity to it, or they always handle the situation calmly. Those people are probably Christians, I've noticed in my life. All these people that handle situations well or make you smile every day, they have something going on in their heart that makes them different from everyone else. That means that we're going to be hypocritical because we're going to fail. Because literally every human in history has failed, including the first 2. Thanks again, Adam and Eve. So since that failure, we're all going to fail and fall short of the glory of God. But because we have something to live for, because we have stuff to live by, that is what makes us hypocrites. Otherwise, we're just lawless, whatevers doing nothing for society. So yeah, call me a hypocrite for making mistakes. But I would much be a hypocrite making mistakes than having nothing to live for and nothing that holds me accountable for my mistakes. What about you? Thank you for watching another episode of A to Y, and I will see you next time. You're still here? The video is over. I stopped talking. Well, since you are here, you might as well like and comment, and if you were listening, go ahead and comment about whatever I was talking about. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I've been stuck at 20 for a while, and I'd really love to get over it. It's really over now. There's nothing more. You should leave.